Hello, and welcome back to Let's Play the Guardian Legend. Today we're taking on Area 7, but first... Oops, that's not the right button. There we go. We gained access to this when we got the last key, and the choice here is quite obvious, actually. Always take a chip upgrade. An HP up you can overlook, because while more HP is more better, it's not always make or break. More chips, however, you know, the higher chip amount we get, the bigger our spread gets, so that's very important. Area 7 has, and Area 8 as well, has a very interesting motif as it sort of gets very biological. The enemies, you'll see a lot more organic types, and just overall it's supposed to be implied that we're in the literal heart of Naju. And for our first boss, it's this guy again. The snake will never be difficult. We have already fought him, this is the 4th time? We know how to beat him. I really don't need to explain it anymore. You just take your sword and you touch him with your sword until he dies. The only thing that is annoying about this snake is that he has way more health than he has any right having. So he takes a while to kill. For that though, we get a very handy grenade upgrade. And I'm waiting for the right group of enemies to use it on. So not this guy. Not these two chucklefucks. Nothing here. However, I never follow the directions the game tells me to go. Also nothing here. Why the hell not? So the grenade is huge now, and it pretty much insta-kills any normal enemy. As you can see. Only downside is it uses quite a bit of chips, but we have quite a bit of chips at this point anyway, so who really cares? This really just ends up being a big loop. God, I love the max health grenade. And I just wanted to show that off to begin with, that this all just kind of loops around. This is a handy checkpoint. And it's actually a good checkpoint because it's very close to both corridors, as we'll be seeing in a little bit. This little area that we walked past before, well, you didn't get to see it because I was trying to avoid enemies, but it's just an enemy eraser. Though, enemy erasers are going to be very important in areas 7 and 8. Sorry, I had a tiny brain fart there. Couldn't remember what numbers we were in. Before we go into corridor 17, I do just want to show off a few things. Up here is actually, I think, the only interconnection between areas. This goes up to Area 6. And over here, we're just going to grab this before we go in. It is a spinning shot upgrade. God, get out of here. These guys are really annoying. Wow, they're a bit too strong, it appears. Oh, well. Why don't we get the spinning shot upgrade and then show it off on them? So it continues to move fairly slowly, but like most shot upgrades, it gets huge at level 3. And I think it's time to go back and take on that corridor. Corridor 17 introduces an enemy that I'm not too fond of at all. See these guys? 1, they're very strong. 2, they delete your specials. I'm talking any special. Grenade, after the first explosion, it's gone. However, they're dealable with the enemy eraser. And that's actually their whole gimmick, is that they're immune to most things except for the enemy eraser. Which just seems silly overall. But really, the enemy eraser is really good for this whole corridor. You kind of get overwhelmed really quickly. So it's good to have on hand. These guys I'm going to deal with the same way I always do. Oh. Like, see, even that. Nothing stops the bullet shield, except for these guys. I'll just try and get as many of them on screen as I can before I use a shot of enemy eraser. That's about good enough. And then as soon as they're gone, you can just feel free to switch back to something else. I've been using the wave beam enough, really. I kind of don't like the wave beam. It seems very weak for what it's supposed to be, which is, you know, a strong piercing shot. Which, I mean, I guess if you want piercing shots, we have the piercing laser, but this is ass. Hey, I wonder if the piercing laser works. Nope. Let's clear these off before we take on the boss. I said let's clear them off before we take on the boss. Alright, they just keep coming. So this boss is a lot like the defense system from Corridor 0. But luckily now, we have special weapons to deal with some of the gimmicks that this has. I really hate these octopus things. A good level 3 spinning shot will take out all the little eyes. And then you're just free to wail on the big eyes because they don't fire nearly as many shots. If you want it to go a little faster though, you can take out a fireball and shoot it through them. The fireball will do a lot more constant damage than the spinning shot. And I think the fireball actually just does more damage to begin with anyway. Sorry if I'm using different terms for the specials now. I've been reading a guide to make sure I don't miss anything, and I've just started taking on the actual names. I actually did try and kill one of those things once with just a normal gun, and it takes about like 3 loops of them going up, and then you get below them and you shoot up. It takes a very long time to kill them. It's really not worth it to use anything other than the enemy eraser. So I think we'll go up first here, seeing how everything looks to be more down. It's been, I wouldn't say a while, but it's been a bit since we've seen these guys. Always good for a refilling. Nothing of interest. Let's continue on to the right then. Which is telling us to go back to the left. Nah, I think I'm good. You know, for being like more or less at the heart of Naju, you think there would be more defenses. However, instead we get this guy again, and, you know, he's not any harder than he was before. But I'll gladly take that defense up. And here our hint is just to enter the corridor over and over again, and it'll open up. you know, that's fine. I wonder if this sword works on these guys. No, it just seems like they have a ton of health. Let's just... there we go. I know exactly how to deal with things that have way too much health in this game. Well, we have max shot speed, and we have max hearts. Well, not hearts, but this is just a health recovery. So I guess we're taking the wave beam upgrade, which does the same thing that the side wave did, and it becomes little circles that shoot really, really fast. But it's still not any good, so we're not going to use it. Oh, wave beam, you were like a thing for... Oh, this lets me show off something. So these guys, remember them from the Area 0? They're immune to enemy eraser. I think they may be one of the only enemies that are immune to enemy eraser, other than, you know, bosses. That was another defense up. Kind of caught it when it was overlapping with a lot of things. So now I think we're actually at max defense. I don't think the defense goes any higher than that. I think we'd go off screen if it did. Or at least it would make another row. This goes to Corridor 7. I'm just not even gonna bother with those guys. But we have a bit more area to explore. I should stop abusing the enemy eraser so much. I say that, but, yeah. Gotta get my points. There. Now we're hale and hearty, and we can take on Corridor 7. Because I believe this goes back to our loop from earlier before Corridor 17. So like the message said, just, you know, try and speedrun this by going in and out as fast as possible. Is that enough? Nope, I think we need to do it one more time. There we go. And preemptively a spinning shot, although I'm not... I can't recall off the top of my head what sort of enemies we fight in this. Oh, right, these guys. These guys suck. These guys suck a lot. So you might have called it when it just happened right there, but the beams that these guys fire out do about 4 to 3 hearts of damage, and they have constant hitboxes, and they are really strong, and they suck. I don't like these guys at all. They're really strong. But that's it. For as fast and difficult as the beginning of this corridor can be, you know, when you're first taking it on, just like that, it slows down. Instead, we have octopi again, and they just make the rest of the corridor easy, because you need to use enemy erasers to kill octopi, but enemy erasers kill the other enemies, so what's the point? And just like that, we're at the boss. You deal with him the same way that you did the first one. Shoot out some spinning shots on the sides to kill the lesser eyes. Get up close and shoot a spinning shot into his core area to do some damage to that. And if you want, as I've said, switch to a fireball. You'll be not lacking for power-ups and recovery items, because he kind of has the same weakness that the defense core had, in that his shots are destructible, so they drop this stuff. Really, I just feel the thing I hate the most about this boss is that he has too much HP. He should just die way faster. But I guess at this point they have to make it difficult somehow. An interesting touch is that you can't actually leave these corridor areas until you pick up the reward item. And we got double swords from that. It's the same as your upgraded sword. And with that, we're done with Area 7. So next time, we're taking on Area 8. I'll see you then.